Hello everyone, Sister Shauna here from Love in the Pot, and welcome to my kitchen. Okay, so today we are doing the recipe that you all voted on, which I would like to call our challenge recipe. Every now and then I want to throw a challenge out there so you can put your culinary skills to the test and see how well you can do. What you've learned, I'd like you to use, okay? So if you would have watched my How to Make Garden Salsa video, you would have picked up a lot of great cutting tips, as well as how to make the Mediterranean grain bowls. You would have picked up tips on how to make rice and some other little things here and there. So here we are, and you all voted for the veggie loaded fried rice. So I'm here today and ready to make these things. I have a cabbage. As you may know, I grow quite a bit of things in my gardens. I have some garden grown scallions, a garden grown bell pepper and chili, and a little bit of Swiss chard and bok choy. I went ahead and harvested a little bit of that before the bugs ate it all. I also have a butternut squash. I had to pick him early because of those bad old army worms. So I've already done a little bit of work on that, as I've washed all the veggies. I've already cleaned my onion. I have all of my tools out and ready, and I peeled the butternut squash. One main component you should remember when making fried rice, here is the key. You should start with cold or day-old rice. I purposely made the rice for today's recipe ahead of time, and I chilled it in an even layer on a large pan. I moved it around from time to time so that it would cool down faster. And once it became room temperature, I wrapped the pan up and I put it in the freezer to chill. It's not frozen, but it's cold. That way I can work with it sooner than later. All right, just a tip to help you speed up the cooling process. So today, we'll begin with our chopping, okay? Now, when I peel the butternut squash, I cut it in half, and I did just like the watermelon or the pineapple and curved down to remove the outer rind. Did the same thing with the bulb end, and then I just took a spoon and scraped the seeds out. So it's cute and small because it's a baby. It wasn't quite ready from the garden. I had to harvest early. So with veggie loaded fried rice, you can pretty much put in it whatever you'd like. I am using the ingredients I have, and I'm going to manipulate them to my benefit. I did actually sharpen my knife today. I don't know what's going on with these things. It's just really sticky. And it's very nutritious. All right, now we'll go with our pretty green bell pepper. Take off the top, take off the bottom. Now make your incision and cut around the loop. The only thing I really like to have when I make fried rice, although you could certainly make it with whatever you choose, I like to have cabbage and peas and carrots and fried egg, scrambled egg. You don't have to have the egg. If you're vegan, you can totally leave that out. We'll go for our onion. Planks, not going all the way through. When you're wiping on the blade, remember this is a sharp object. Wipe away from the sharp edge, so downward. While we're doing our veggie prep, I just washed. I'm gonna pause for a moment because I made this tea the other day and it was so good. It was just fresh ginger, a nub of fresh turmeric, lemon juice, and I boiled it with honey and a little bit of raw sugar, and it was so good. So I am gonna start that, and that'll be a nice drink to accompany the meal. Doesn't have to be perfect because I'm actually gonna strain it all out later. I'm gonna squeeze about a half a lemon. You can add more later if you need to. Then put the whole thing in there. Add water. Bring this to a boil and then turn it off and let it steep. And we can sweeten it later with honey and raw sugar. Or you can use all honey if you choose to. You can multitask. Think about what takes the longest to prepare. Get that going first. Or you can allow something to cook while you are doing something else. So I have about a half a pot of water here. A nub of ginger sliced. One pinky finger length piece of turmeric. And so far a half a lemon, but I may very well need to add another half. So that's that, very simple. And that'll be a nice beverage to go with our Asian inspired meal. All right, so back to it. Now we'll do the garlic last since it's so sticky. We'll deal with our cabbage. And all we're really gonna need is a half. Cut that down the middle. As you can see, there's the core. I'm going to take my knife on either side to get that core out, and then I will slice it. And I won't have to worry about taking the core out. See here? Pull it out. Now I can cut the whole thing up. Of course, take off any bad leaves. I'm actually gonna rinse this really well, and then I'm gonna spin it dry with the salad spinner. That's an extra step you don't have to take, but I want to control the moisture, and because cabbage already has such a high water content, I don't want it to be stewing. I want it to stir fry. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut up the things from the garden. I have my little baby bok choy. And I know some of it got a little shredded, but it's clean, and I'm not gonna waste it. I am not gonna worry about separating the stems from the leaves because stir frying is a quick cooking process, so everything's gonna cook quick. I'm just gonna cut the stems a little smaller. Perfecto. I think I will keep these separate so I can maintain that beautiful bright green color, because this cabbage is firmer, the traditional cabbage, and will take a little bit longer. And I want to keep those vibrant colors. I'm working with a pan that's been prepped, as you see. It has a napkin on it to help pull moisture after I wash them and allow them to air dry. And then I'm also, as I'm cooking, I'm going to place the items on the same sheet pan so that they can be cooked in stages. And I can control what cooks how long. Okay, so next we have our scallions. We won't need all of them. We'll just go with about this. And this will be a garnish, really. These are actually from the garden as well. They were store-bought green onion or scallions. And I just potted them and I feed them like every couple of weeks. And they continuously grow as I cut them down. Just don't pull up the root. Our ginger turmeric tea has not begun to boil just yet. So by the time we get ready to start cooking, it should be ready to turn off and come out of the way. Okay, it's ready for garnish later. At that, we take a little bit of chili. I think I want to use some, give it a little bit of heat, but I won't need much because I did assemble a spice blend and it has a little kick to it. I like to make my own Asian spice blends or my own little spice blends if I can, depending on what's most cost effective. But if you go to a farmer's market, you can often get the spices in bulk. So for our Asian spice blend, I used about 2 tablespoons of granulated garlic, about 1 tablespoon of onion powder, about a teaspoon of cumin, white pepper, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of sesame seeds, and coriander and salt to taste. Stir it all around, taste it. If you want to mellow out the heat, add a little pinch of sugar, like a 1/4 teaspoon, and adjust it to your liking. And I have some black sesame seeds that I can garnish with. So, put that down to a nice paste so it's not so overwhelming. All right, now I like to use fresh garlic as well as granulated garlic. So we'll mix up a little bit of fresh garlic. We'll deal with the rest of that later. As of now, about 5 or 6 will do, whatever your preference is. I like a lot of garlic, so that's what I'm going for. Okay, we're almost done with our prep. You could most definitely help yourself and do this the day before. Get the kids to help. Fun activity to do with the kiddos. And oftentimes if they help make the food, they're more likely to eat the food. You don't have to use lime. You could use the rice wine vinegar, but I need to use these limes up soon. So I'm gonna use a little lime juice as well as maybe a little rice wine vinegar. I just like the natural flavor of the lime. This little juicer was like $1. And now what we're making is our little soy sauce that we'll use to add to our fried rice towards the end. And any extra is nice for dipping sauce as well. So we will do that. It's pretty much equal parts water to soy. And we will thicken it with cornstarch. Of course, taste and adjust. Add some sesame oil. I love toasted sesame oil. I usually go heavy on it because I like it. A little splash of rice wine vinegar. I'm sorry, yes, rice wine vinegar. Maybe about a teaspoon or so of cornstarch. Dissolve that in there. When you use cornstarch, you always want to make sure that it's dissolved before you add it into something so that it doesn't clump. So I have my cute little baby whisk. And I'm gonna add some fresh garlic, a little touch of that chili, and when we get over there, I will add a little sugar as well as a pinch of our Asian seasoning that I made earlier. So splash that mine, and then we'll taste. No double dipping, okay? Still too salty, so I'm gonna add some more water. Because I added that, I'm gonna add some more cornstarch. That's the beauty of making things yourself. You can taste, you can adjust, you can exclude things that you don't like or that don't suit your dietary needs. You can make it exactly how you want it. Okay? So, we'll finish our sauce when we go over there. We have most of our prep done. Final step is I'm going to crack, season, and beat these eggs. Also, I'm going to take a break and come back ready to execute, but I will have my cabbage already rinsed and drained, so we're ready to cook. Okay, so before I even touch those eggs, I'm going to put a little water. I like to put a little water in my scramble because it just helps it to steam and make nice fluffy eggs. If you see things floating around, those are sesame seeds because I used the spice blend. I already made a head. I'm just going to crack these and have them ready to go. And the next time you see me, we'll be cooking. Hey everybody, we're back. So we've done all our prep. Now we're ready to execute. So one of the most important things about making fried rice or Asian food in general is to have your prep done, have your mise en place ready to go, thus having your prep done and being ready to go. You could certainly do this in the sense of batch cooking. If you needed to make a lot more, do the sufficient quantity for the size of your pan, and then you could repeat. However, you can also do it kind of deconstructed, which is what I'm going to do because I'm going to make a huge batch so we can have fried rice for the next couple of days. So as you see, I have a big pan of rice that's already prepared. I added quinoa to it for added protein, as well as my husband really likes it, and it boosts the nutrient content, so that's there. My ratio was 5 cups of rice to 1 cup of quinoa. And of course, if you remember our 1-2-3 ratio, that means if I have a total of 6 grains, you'll need about 12 cups of liquid, but scale it down by a cup or so because you can always add a little extra moisture at the end as opposed to having wet, mushy grains. As we get started, I'm going to work with the wok because I have it, but if you don't, you can certainly use a large skillet. The key to stir frying is a hot pan and quick cooking. So I have a rubber spatula, something that's not gonna tear my pans up too badly. And I'm gonna start with my egg. While the pan's nice and clean. And I'm also gonna think about where it's gonna go when I take it out. Eggs are seasoned already with a splash of water. While it's hot, I'm gonna add a little oil. It's best to use a neutral oil, but I have so much flavor going on here. The olive oil won't be a problem. You can opt out of the egg. It's optional. My family likes it, so I'm using it. As we go, as we cook, we're going to put things on this sheet pan here. I'm reducing how many dishes I use, so I will, once I cook that Swiss chard, the pan will be empty and I will continue filling it with the components we're cooking. Now the egg is out, I gave it a quick wipe. We get our pan back hot and then we will start with our cabbage. Had to think about it. I'll do the Swiss chard last because it's so tender. I'm going to add a little oil, a little sesame oil. You could certainly add less if you want to, but the oil adds a nice caramelization. It's going to help it promote to brown and not just be really wet. But if you're really working on your figure, you can exclude the oil or reduce the oil. Make it your way. I'm going to add some of my spice mix that I mentioned earlier. We are seasoning as we go and moving slowly. One thing to remember is that all of this is going to cook again with the rice. You can control your ingredients, how much browning they get, how long they cook, and so on. It's called stir frying because you're frequently moving the food around so it doesn't burn, but it's cooking at a high temperature. So that's what we're doing. You can see it's decreasing in volume, but won't be long. Also, while this is happening, I'm going to take my microplane and a little fresh ginger. And we are going to add this to the sheet pan with the veggies that are cooked. Okay, so next we'll go with the butternut squash. I'm going to turn it down a touch because it's going to take a little longer to cook. It is veggie loaded, but you could certainly substitute and build it how you like. You could add chopped broccoli. It could be zucchini. It could be whatever you're in the mood for, whatever looks good. So we continuously build flavor. My family likes a little spice, so I added a little more of that chili. But I think I'm going to be careful adding it later so it won't be overwhelming. Instead of taking it out, I'm going to leave this in the pan and continue with some of our onions and our peppers. No, we'll save some for breakfast. I also have some frozen peas and carrots set aside, probably like a cup and a half or so. So remember, I'm making a large batch, but I won't add that in until the last minute because they're really already cooked. They were cooked and thawed and cooked, cooled, and frozen for our convenience. So I will add that in as I'm frying the rice so that they do not lose their color and do not become completely mushy. If you find that some parts are cooking too hot, the center is going to be your highest heat, and then up the sides, of course, it's a little less intense. So if you forgot to add the garlic, you can throw it in here in the center, give it a quick stir fry, and add everything back in. I'm going to taste it to see how tender it is. I can kind of tell that they're starting to get translucent. Need more seasoning. More garlic. When you make your spice blend, go low on the sodium or on the salt because it's going to get that soy sauce glaze at the end. This takes such a while to cook. What I think I'm going to do is take it out for a moment and make a little adjustment and do the Swiss chard. Then remove the Swiss chard and add this back in to finish with the rice, because the butternut squash is taking a while to cook because it is a firm vegetable. So this way I am in control and nothing burns. Flavor as you go. Add a little more garlic. Add a hint of ginger. Okay, that's perfect. So now we can come out. Go back to the pan that has all the veggies on it. Now we can return the butternut squash. I'm going to add a little more oil because it's time to fry the rice. A little sesame oil. The ceramic bowls get hot, so be careful if you do what I did. However, since you saw my mistake, you don't have to make that mistake. In with the rice. The reason I didn't add even more is because I want to have room to add our veggies. Okay, we can turn it up now. Let it fry up because this rice is cold. When I cooked the rice, I added ginger, garlic, a little pinch of soy, and white pepper. You find white pepper more often in Asian cooking or cayenne as opposed to traditional black pepper. I'm going to taste it, see if it's getting heated throughout. Let's taste for the seasoning. Process may take you anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. Just keep moving it around so it doesn't burn at the bottom. I am going to start adding some of my sauce. Stir it well because the cornstarch settles at the bottom. And once you're done, you can thicken the rest in the microwave to activate the cornstarch. And it'll be a nice little dipping sauce. For your egg rolls, if you have any, want to add on for those who like lots of sauce. Go easy because you know that's more sodium. Okay, so just work that in. And now we can start adding our veggies. I'll do another batch off camera to finish. Okay, mix it all in. I didn't add all of mine because I have a little bit more rice. I'm going to fry it off camera and get everything in there. like to make a big batch of this. My family really likes it. So we're working in all of our beautiful veggies. Now we'll add peas and carrots. And really, once you add those peas and carrots, it really only needs a few minutes, maybe 1 to 2 tops. If they were still frozen, you could certainly cook them a little longer, but mine were thawed. Or you could have gave them a quick saute with the Swiss chard and bok choy. Veggie loaded fried rice done. We'll plate it up and get ready to serve. Okay, we're back. Have my fried rice. I'm ready to plate. This is healthier than your traditional fried rice. We do have the extra sauce that you can finish it with if you choose. A veggie spring roll would really like complement as well. It's got lots of veggies in there. It could truly be like a complete protein because I added that quinoa. This is a good example of getting creative with your food because we made it healthy. And it has all clean and wholesome ingredients. A little scallion. And for fun, some black sesame seed, although they blend right in with the quinoa. Pair of chopsticks for fun. And there you have it. Veggie loaded fried rice. I hope you enjoy. Please give this challenge a try. Test your cutting skills. Test your ability to do quick sauteing. And please let me know how it came out and how you liked it. And let me know what you'd like to see next. Thank you for joining me here at Love in the Pot.